is a canoe, a va'a? Now, many Western thinkers would say, how can a canoe be born into a family? Well, the canoe was an integral part of where the Hawaiian people came from. The canoe has always been part of the family. It would always be part of the birthright. The person who carved the canoe, when his spirit left his spiritual life, he was placed in the canoe, and the canoe was placed in the cave. You're born with your canoe, you always pass or hala with your canoe.
Hi, it's Friday the 11th. It's D-Day. Putting the canoe in the water.
The collective nervous energy on the deck has everybody making final preparation.
This voyage means a lot. You know, it is our final leg of a journey that started about 6 years ago.
Today's been pretty uneventful. A few bumps and bruises for everybody. Seas got bigger, wind picked up.
I'm sure they have a lot of questions in their head about whether they can do it.
Get up a little.
Ocean time. It's awesome.
Well, this valley is owned by a lot of ancestral families in here. So now I've taken responsibility to take care of this as their kupuna would have done. Kupuna means the elder. Kupuna means the elder of today. Kupuna could mean someone who passed on already. Kupuna means someone that has knowledge and experiences and sharing it to the generation below that. These are all original lo'is from kupuna. These are not made by me. Everything was made in early time by the ancestral people. Kalo, the root, we cook it like, steam it, and we eat it. The kalo is really important to us. It was our staple for the day, you know. They carried it right in the va'a, in the canoe, and the canoe food. Ocean people manage with little to get far. Kawika Kapauliho is my uncle. He was one of the first kapanas of the Hokulea that had voyaged from Maui to Tahiti in 1976. He's physically passed on. Spiritually, he's here. Koko o koko, i'o o i'o, iwi o iwi, kupuna se. my uncle's flesh to my flesh, like my dad. The bone to my bone. The blood to my blood. I've asked him many questions about the ocean and how he traveled. And so my uncle made sure that to pass on this knowledge and making sure that my kuleana was to carry on his legacy and continue to be out there with a canoe. Uncle Kavika had told me to connect the Hawaiian Islands like a lei, to paddle from the big island, which is better known to us as Hawaii, all the way up to the last atoll called Kure. And he named my va'a Ke Alakai Ko'umau Kupuna, which meant the pathway of my ancestors. By doing that, the kuleana of knowing the stars, knowing the tide, knowing the current, knowing the clouds, knowing the wind, knowing the animals in the ocean and the birds in the sea and the birds in the land, to carry on what he had learned. That's the kuleana he left behind. So with that, I hope to pass my kuleana to my children and my grandchildren. And that's what we're going to complete on our voyage. Jamie.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. Oh, perfect.
Some over there.
Yeah, I just need, I think 5 over here.
E kanone ao aya I oi kaulu. As we plant, it will grow.
Great. I met Kimokeo 30 years ago when I looked for help in the community with the organization that I was running that provides services to disabled adults. And Kimokeo immediately came forward and offered his assistance.
E kanone ao
Kanane ao,
aya I oi
aya ia oi,
kaulu.
ka ulu.
And it was an immediate recognition on my part that I wanted to and needed to help him fulfill his uncle's vision and the kuleana that he took on for completing a voyage of the entire Hawaiian archipelago.
As I plant, you will grow.
I think for Kimokeo, it's very important that this mission be realized and that our goals be accomplished. And for him, it's a cultural, religious experience where we're going to go and we're going to paddle from the Big Island to Kure Atoll, and nobody is going to stop that effort. And he's recruited an amazing group of people to help him do that.
In the early 80s, I was living in Newport Beach and surfing every day, and I just got tired of fighting the crowds and the aggressiveness of guys in the water fighting for waves, and I just wanted to find something that was a little more peaceful, but still on the water. And that's how I started. I was sitting in the back of a pickup with Pepe Trask, and he's one of the guys part of this voyaging crew. And he had heard about the fact that I had paddled my one-man canoe from Honolulu to Kauai, and I was the only person who had ever done that before. So he says, we need somebody like you to be, to join us. on our voyaging. So that's how I got hooked up with these guys. This year, since I am a stage 4 cancer patient, I'll be taking my injections and my medicines throughout the whole journey. So for me, this time it's a bit different than other voyages. But it's a quite disturbing thing to have to live with. It goes to your core.
From the age of 17 until about 35, I never touched a canoe.
There you go.
I always felt kind of outside of all of that stuff. And it just brought out things that I didn't know were there. This canoe was born in about 1895, and then my grandfather bought it in about 1910 and came here, and it stayed here, stayed in the yard for like 50 years, you know. Got shoved in a shed, and it had junk like inside, tires on it, stuff just thrown, and it was just like rotted out. It was so sad. It was just rotten. It was just eaten so bad that it was dead almost. So the fact that all of us are now doing it, and I'm saying all these things, and these guys are doing all the work, you know?
Yeah, bro, what's up with that?
That's community, bro.
Community. Ohana.
That's Ohana, too.
One Ohana must stay the story, the Ohana must Hana.
Yeah. So all the hard work's done now. The old shots of it back in the day. This is about 1937. This is Hanalei. And you can see this is my grandfather here. And when my grandfather first got it, he didn't really understand this, you know. It was just a wooden canoe, and it was really fun. They would go around the bay, and then he met John Hanohano Pa, who kind of like Kimokeo, you know, showed him the spirit of this small little va'a, and that is now part of kind of who we are a little bit more. So, and then here's some shots of it, and you can see that there were all kinds of holes. It was in bad shape. There's Kendall. This is when he went through his first cancer. And I just love that shot. All the top stuff is all Kauai koa, and all this is from Kona. This is just like a woman too, yeah?
Yeah. It's surprising that you say that.
No, yeah, but...
Because the front of the canoe is the mano iho.
Yeah.
The mano iho is the kani. Yeah? The back is the mano hope. Yeah? That's the wahine. She's the most sacred one. So, exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is her opu to hanao the keiki. Yeah? So, this is where the part is about going from one mokopuni to another mokopuni, or one ahupua'a to the next ahupua'a to born the child. You know, so that's what this is.
Our culture is based upon ocean, because when you only on aina or land, you only get that half of life. It takes the two parts to really get to see the total picture. If you step out with your keiki or your children, out means beyond the shoreline, to go and feel of how it is out in the ocean, so that you can communicate to the heavens, communicate with yourself, communicate with the aina, or the land that you live on, and finally communicate with the ocean. And then you are a complete, total man.
That's what amazes my culture and my people. They had it all here. That was and was washed away. The value systems changed. So Captain Cook come and the Hawaiian natives could identify that one pahoa, as my finger is saying here, which is one nail, was more valuable than an ancient ko'i. And my hand is showing the shape of a rock tool that they would kill to own that one nail. Because that one nail could dig out a whole canoe in less the time than that one ko'i or that one tool.
It's important that to the Hawaiian culture, we keep up these things. If we don't, then this culture will be lost and the lifestyle of it will be lost. The same way how we're passing it through, that's the way we need to pass it through. Okay. It's straight up, yeah. It's always go straight up. Good. Adjust the yaku and ama, adjusting your stroke, so everybody has a, we call it fish tailing. Fish tailing is driving your paddle down, bringing it back, and centering your body, so pretending like you're a fish in the water. Glide, glide. What you're seeing these guys doing is called hana kalima. Hana is to work, lima is your hand. So what you put in is what you get out. So we're putting in, the spirit of the canoe to be, we're putting it in and the canoe is putting it in us. So it's working together all as one. Yeah, the ocean, the canoe, the man, everything's one big ohana. Everybody sharing their resources to move you from one place to another place.
When you build a va'a, somehow, when you touch it or you feel it, it's hard to explain. But right now, when I feel this, it's alive. It's something that takes people from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. And the canoe is my beauty, and it's something that's always moving and traveling. That's from me to the va'a and to the people who use it.
I don't think any of us are extreme athletes. You know, I think we're ordinary people with extraordinary objectives and goals. That we think that we can go ahead and connect the links in the chain, the islands in the chain via outrigger canoe voyaging. That's something that's very important to us. It was something that was laid on to us by Kimokeo's uncle to please give some sense of presence and meaning to the northwestern part of our state that encompasses, 2/3 of the state of Hawaii that people know very little about.
Everybody only know the main Hawaiian islands, which everybody know as Hawaii. But nobody really know about what we call Na Mokupuni Nakupuna, the elder islands of Hawaii. So his vision was making sure that we go back and for them to look upon you and say, Mai ka'eloa e nakohoi ka wa'a. Look at the canoe once more showing up. So they're very spiritually happy to see the wa'a.
The northwestern Hawaiian Islands have always been out there, beyond people's comprehension. But it's a special place.
The place, the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, are a very, very sacred place. It's really the territory of Kanaloa, the god of the ocean, and many of those islands are some of the most sacred in all of the Hawaiian belief system. So the journey, the voyage, it actually moved from a physical challenge of paddling from island to island to really a spiritual and cultural journey.
And that's the whole idea of bringing the va'a out there. You know, we're taking that canoe out to where it used to be.
In 2002, we started our first voyage. After we completed the voyages in the main part of Hawaii, we started to go out northwest. Once you get past Kauai and Ni'ihau, you enter into what's called the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. The voyage from Kauai to Ni'ihau was our first time in real big water, deep water, open ocean. And it tested us at all levels. I mean, the paddle was about 27 hours out with absolutely no thought given to the return trip. Most everybody on the boat got sick. And it was during that voyage that we all realized we needed a bigger boat. Our next trip took us from Nihoa to Mokumanamana. Round-the-clock paddling, big water, big wind, all day, every day. The voyage from Mokumanamana to Leisan was going to be our longest voyage, 400 plus miles. And the one thing that many of us found was that our hands fell apart. They just turned to hamburger after being in water for 4 or 5 days. Our final voyage is going to take us from Leisan to Kuri Atoll, 450 miles, 90 hours of paddling, and we'll be paddling outside the boundaries of the National Marine Monument. A marine monument larger than all of the national parks combined.
Kimokeo and I became friends because of the passion he has, and that is to deal with canoeing.
A cool position without moving forward.
And my passion is Hawaiian culture that deals with canoeing and everything connected with it. So I have spent many years doing the chant and protocols for Hawaiian canoeing for me to eventually become a teacher to Kimokeo. So we became closer and closer, so that today I can truly say he is my brother.
Kimokeo's intention is to share the beauty of what the Hawaiian culture is all about. You know, introduce the Hawaiian culture to as many people as he can, regardless of their ethnicity.
Okay, you know, you want to be real powerful. So on this, when we show you the haka, the 10, it's
For him, it's important that, you don't show up just to paddle. If you're going to go on this voyage, then you have to engage in other activities that basically merit your participation, but give back. And so for him, that's the exchange.
I met Kimokeo when I was like 10, 11, And then his name was not Kimokeo. If you said, hey, Kimokeo, I wouldn't know who that was. I knew him as Bully, and he was the king of the beach on the south side, you know. And he always had this way that he kind of, you know, ruled everything. And if, you know, some of the guys ever got, you know, out of hand, he would just shove them out and say, hey, you're out of the water. And he was scary. He was a scary dude, you know. And of course, you know, I was a small kid at the time. And, you know, he's a big guy, so, hey, you know. The next time I saw him was on the beach here 6 years ago. He wasn't Bully anymore, he was Kimokeo. And his face kind of looked the same, but there was this warmth there. It was different.
When an outsider, better known as the Howlers, came, it wasn't a great thing for me because it was a big impact about now they're on my beach. Now they're on my sand, they're on my wave, everything. So you wouldn't want to be around me at those days because I felt threatening by outsiders coming now to my territory. So that name stayed with me for a long, long time. Then in the last, I should say, 10 years, there was a gentleman by the name of Kumukeli Itawa, and we both have been doing culture work. And he said, if we're going to be doing this kind of culture work, that name is not a good name.
So at one point of time when we met, I made and assisted in him looking at the importance of changing his approach to mankind and to ohana, or family.
With that, Kumukili Itawa blessed me with a name called Kimokeo. And ever since then, my work in Hawaiiana, my life has been enriched. So, na ohana e ke alakai ko o mau kupuna. The family of the Va'a, my greatest love of all. Mahalo. Ha! 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 Ha!
What I have there is the lung point that we're going to check. Okay? So we'll put that on the left side and show the screen. If you show white up there, that shows there's a potential problem on that.
I don't dwell on what I have, I just dwell on living. It's part of how I deal with everything. I don't stick my head in the sand. So that's good news today.
I would say so.
But anyways, it's nice to come in and have some good news. And, you know, Doc,
You have to have a booster today.
yeah, I'll have a booster. No, I want to let them know what you told me just about 2 months ago. You just tested me, and you said, you know, about the canoe paddle, and you said you agreed that I shouldn't go.
Yes.
Because my body, I should save that energy to fight the cancer.
Right.
And then, but here's what you said: unless it's something you want to do before you die. Do you remember saying that?
You should go.
Thanks, Dr. Lamb. Thank you very much. Okay. You still have some doubt, you know, even though I feel capable. You know, you rely on a lot of people and equipment, and things can happen. And, you know, who knows what goes on out there?
He wants to go?
Oh.
So why don't we just operate from that standpoint?
It's all timing, because if the holistic stuff doesn't work, then he has to go right in.
Yeah, because the last thing that we want is to be 1,200 miles northwest of Kauai and have his colon blow up.
Right.
Because if
He
something
actually
goes...
said, though, so what if it does?
Just throw him over?
Throw him overboard.
I want you guys to reflect back on the first mana'o we shared at Kendall's Holly.
I remember that.
Do you guys remember his conversation?
I do. Kendall talked about the fact that he was a stage 4 cancer survivor.
Correct.
And how this was something that was really important to him.
Right. The most positive thing because of this challenge we have, first is, and mostly, is our ohana, our family. And he's our family. Everyone with us is our ohana. So we make sure that negative thing in our ohana, when you come in a va'a, we have none of that. Shape the meaning like the canoe, shape it how we would react to each other while we're out in that open sea. There'll be no maybe. He is part of the ohana and we're going. And that will be just great for us. You know, so that's what we left it at.
Good.
Why don't you come over here and just keep me company? Yeah. A little moral support. We got about 1% body fat, so that makes this more fun.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Eyo mako, e na koe o kane o kendo. E malamo o ko, e na kane o kendo. E ulu ikalani, e ulu kanua, e ulu kapano o vaine. E ho mai ka iki, e ho mai ka ika, e ho mai akamai, e ho mai kamana. Wow. Amama uno. Bye bye! Bye bye! Bye bye! Bye-bye. Hey, Michael Hui. Let's have our meeting.
Kimokeo's on, money's in, Chris Ludy's on, I'm in, paid, Chris, you got my info. Kendall, on the list, coming with us, even if we have to tie him to the deck.
So is that a consensus?
There's no discussion on this point.
It's not even up for debate.
No.
In fact, we're moving on to the next name.
Yeah.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like because of my current medical state that I might be not at 100%. That's the way I felt. But overwhelmingly, there's 100% across the board from my teammates. They want me there.
regardless of where I'm at physically. And so with that support, I'll be there 110%. Because now they're relying on me. Everybody's so important to the crew that I'll just be working extra hard.
It's all, in the end, it has all to do with Kimokeo and really Kimokeo's ability to draw people into what he believes is important and what he thinks people should be doing. Jamie obviously had some health issues, had heart surgery. He had a heart valve that was about to give out and fail. Jamie certainly hasn't had the same level of fitness this year than some of us had that didn't have open heart surgery. But the beautiful thing about this is it's completely irrelevant. Everybody serves a very, very important purpose on this journey, and we would not have gone without Jamie. We would not have gone without Kendall. That is what it's all about.
What's important in a voyaging experience like this is you have to be able to become one with the rest of the group and to function as part of a team. It's important that you blend with the people in the boat, and you can feel that sitting in seat one. If there's a staccato versus just a fluid motion of the boat, you can feel that. You know, once everybody's hitting right and pulling and sequencing and blending well, you feel everybody plant and pull and glide and return, and you can feel that fluid movement through the water.
Was my first coach years ago when I first started paddling, and he's always been a huge instigator to just keep moving forward. And he's helped myself personally accomplish so much in that way. Just the fact that I'm going to be part of history and that I'm going to do this so huge. This undertaking is amazing. You know, just to be with him doing this, that he's just brought so many of us together. I just said to Kimokeo, I said, "Can I go?" And he's like, turns around and says, "We're offering you a seat on the Voyage." And I was like, cool. Then I thought, what did I just ask for?
Kimokeo called me up and he said, I heard about you, Pepe, and he asked me whether or not he could land his canoe at our canoe club, which is Kaiola Canoe Club. And so I said, sure. And I said, you paddling where? From where to where? And he said, yeah, we're going to paddle from Haleiwa to Kauai, which had never been done before, 95 plus miles. And I go, you need any paddlers? He goes, yeah, we'll use one guy. I said, good, I'll meet you there, man. And I said, when are you going? He goes, we're gonna leave at night.
Inui kawai, drink of your sustenance. Be sure you drink it all, that he will allow you to keep going for a distance without craving. For let this spiritual food that you have partaken of start you off with a burst of mana and power and spirituality that will take you beyond the reef, will take you into the islands of our kupuna.
Umakoko. Aye. Hey yo, Namakua! Hey yo, Nakupuna!
Bring the boom in, not the canoe.
there.
Bye, guys.
And this is welcome to cell block D block. 20 different people, 7 different sizes.
Hi, my name is Chris O'Keefe.
My name is Pepe Trask.
My name is Grant. My name is Grant.
And it goes to record. Testing, 1, 2, 3. And now it's recording, and then if you
Oh, well, hey, we're recording.
Okay. So to start, my name is Dave Lost a Lot.
So this is the beginning, this is the stoke. We are gonna go, we're gonna have an awesome time.
Hi, my name is Matt Muirhead.
Colleen. Anita. It's me, Rin. Hi.
Hello everyone. My name is Kimokeo Kapaolihoa. We're with Hawaiian Outrigger Canoe Voyage Society. We are about to do our last part of the Hawaiian Island chain from Laysan to Kure.
Coming into the monument. Boy, no fishing zone.
You can see Nihoa right now. Isn't that Nihoa? Yeah. That's straight out there.
This is a rare opportunity. The billions of people in the world right now, for us to be here, I mean, this is actually the gateway to the past.
Mortal people are not on these islands, but their spirit still lingers there. And they still have a desire to feel that they're still part of the entire archipelago of Hawaii and the world. Then you understand that you are the moku, you are the island within the whole fishbowl of the earth.
Mahalo i oe nā poe o ni hoa. E mahalo i oe nā poe. Onua e ni hoa. E nā poe o lani. E a mama ua noa. E ku lana wao. E ku lana wao. E ku wā huki. E ku wā ko. E ku wā amau. In the va'a, in the boat, we are the island. So we must make the best of each of us and make sure that we get along. So I think each of the paddlers have focused on their own personal voyage to Kure, and they're doing really, really well.
Today, my energy is definitely different. Very nervous, very scared.
Everybody's been issued the flotation device, a whistle, and a light. You need to wear the whistle 24/7. Worst case scenario, somebody goes overboard in the back at night. A, we may never find you, but we may not even know you're gone for 9 hours. That's it. So.
Definitely scared.
For all of the first-time folks here, they're nervous. They've got a lot of, I'm sure they have a lot of questions in their head about themselves, about whether they can do it. But the thing is, they don't know about all of their friends, their loved ones, and all of their spirits yet that will come to them and come to their aid and fill them up and give them strength.
1, 2, 3, go!
Guys in the front, let it down, let it tired.
Unloading the canoe, is an extremely critical process because, it's fiberglass, just millimeters thick. So it's really critical to make sure that the canoe is safely placed in the water away from the ship, because if it crashes against it, it could smash it. That's the end of the trip right there.
All good? You gotta go, guys. You gotta go. Clear. Little slack.
Turn out.
Gang, just start out nice and easy now. By the way, gang, feels good. This got to come out. Okay, mine's all the way.
You got the rope wedging in there.
There, nice. And you're pretty center.
What happened was they were ready, and they got into the canoe and literally started to paddle off into the sunset, and the rest of us were busy trying to get the Zodiac in the water, and nobody on the boat, nobody was looking at the canoe.
Well, it's official. The paddling started, and we're all confused as hell, so we'll see if it gets any better.
I mean, you're 6,000 miles away or whatever from anything. So it's like, forget it if you get lost.
Hey, Peter, Alec, you guys see the canoe?
If we hadn't been that fortunate to find the canoe, a little bit of drama could have turned into tragedy real easy. The way we run it is we have 2 teams. Each team is going to have a 1-hour session, and the 1 hour starts from when the horn blows on the boat. The horn blows on the boat, the team that's going to get up and into the canoe gets ready.
Better get ready, guys. I gotta go in.
The team that's in the canoe hears the horn and knows they only have about 10 minutes left.
When we go to the Zodiac, we told you guys in the meeting, one at a time so we don't step each other's head or neck or nose or face.
So we go directly from the escort vessel into the Zodiac, which remains tethered to the escort boat at all times. And then the canoe comes to the Zodiac. The 6 people in the canoe leave the canoe, seat by seat, and they are replaced by a new crew. We don't do water changes anymore because of the dangers and the sharks. And that cycle repeats itself every hour, on the hour, around the clock, 24/7.
Here we go, gang. Cookie.
Just
kind of working the bugs out, you know, just working your body, waking up a little bit. Usually takes me a few rotations to kind of just settle in. You get in, you're all anxious, and you know, you just want to go, go, go. But yeah, you just got to settle in. Takes a few times, get your fatigue just a little bit to relax.
They're definitely danger. Well, we do hundreds of changes throughout a long voyage. And the way the Zodiac comes up the escort boat, just the rise and fall of the sea, and you have to time. There could be a 10, 11-foot drop. One guy jumps off, and then it'll drop like an elevator, 10 feet, like that. And so there's always the possibility of falling down that, back into the escort or into the ocean. And so it's a bit sketchy.
This group's got nocturnal habits I've never seen before. I mean, these guys are out there paddling right now in the middle of the night.
Oh, that was brutal. That was not fun. We got way far back. Seas are coming at you from every direction. Can't see a thing.
It can become very intimidating and fearful if you haven't been there before. And, you know, when the waves are coming over the canoe and breaking all the way down to sea 2 or 3, and it's dark and somebody can't even get into the boat, you know, it's like just how serious it can get and where your head needs to be, because it's always your head and not your body that takes you out of these voyages.
3 o'clock in the morning.
I just know because when I get in the canoe, I don't know how to quit. Quitting is not an option. Quitting lasts forever, and that's painful. I can count the times on one hand in my life that I've quitted something, and so it's not something I ever think about or ever plan on doing.
Their paddling speed is 6 knots, basically, 5.5 to 6 knots, which is an extraordinary accomplishment. We have people that are paddling here 1 hour and taking 1 hour off, paddling again. They intend to do it for 4 days. They've been at it now for nearly 24 hours. They still look good. They're still strong. In fact, they're going faster than they were when they started, and it's rougher. They're out there now holding a stroke of, I don't know what, something close to 70. And that's just remarkable.
Zach, you got your FD on?
Jesus Christ.
I'll get it.
We actually called the back of the support boat Jaws, because the way that thing would come up on a swell in your Zodiac, it just felt like this huge thing was just going to take a bite out of you.
Careful.
We want a pad here.
I don't like getting in and out of that Zodiac.
Got him. You okay?
They're always teasing me I'm so rough when I get in. I'm not. They said I must not have had ballet lessons when I was young.
This one's going to go counterclockwise.
Right, up that.
This one's clockwise, but the front's going to come this way.
Yeah.
I expect nice weather, but no one really knows beyond a few days.
The ocean has its own life. It doesn't matter what computer we have, what satellite system. Nobody will tell you when you're ready to get pissed off.
State's been changing every hour. Right now, the waves are it's just really confused water. Waves are just kind of bouncing from side to side from all directions. So the mental aspect of being so close to the end would really fire people up. But right now, you just kind of drag into the boat because you know that your next hour is going to be pretty painful.
Half the time it feels like the front of this boat's falling off a cliff and you're riding it to the bottom. So anyway, everyone's a little nuts right now. So we'll keep you posted, see if anybody cracks.
Oh yeah, the escort vessel has really been, it's a very comfortable vessel. We have so many luxuries on this boat that we have never had in the past. A washer and dryer, a outside hot shower, an ice maker. I mean, it's just like the Love Boat.
No, not Love Boat.
Well, maybe they're not the Love Boat.
That's the pose.
Today is I believe it's we're now starting the third day. We just completed the second day.
The body requirement of protein and carbohydrate, because it's an endurance paddle and for the length of time they will be paddling, it's imperative that they eat continuously.
People are just starting to eat anything. I know myself, I was eating like day-old oatmeal. I was all like, whatever, I don't care, just I need to eat now.
We encourage people not to deviate from their normal eating habits.
Spam and cereal.
3 a.m. Had probably 18 things of V8 today. I don't know what that's going to do to me, because I really don't like V8, but I guess I do now.
One thing I noticed that I was a little sensitive on is that when some of the guys that don't know how I paddle or how we paddle, us females, are commenting about, not necessarily directing at us, but when they're talking about strong paddlers or other paddlers,
There was one incident yesterday, somewhere around dinner time, and one of the guys mentioned about strong paddlers and then other paddlers, and I was like, gave him the eye. I'm like, what do you mean? What the hell are you talking about? And he's like, I wasn't referring to you. I heard you're a bull and you're a strong paddler, and that was all good, but we'll forgive them. We'll let that go. I guess actions speak louder than words.
I do notice a difference in the rhythm or sort of the quality in being in the canoe with women than being in the canoe with men. There's a difference in the flow. And when they went in there, the canoe just seemed to be much lighter and move much faster. No, it was just something about their quality that they were lending to the canoe. It was really special.
We are 6 paddlers moving the canoe, and the canoe is like the 7th. She is our mana, she is our connection to each other, and she does not distinguish between male or female, wahine or kane. It's just one of those effortless, meant to be paddles, and it was very sweet. You're just making them fucking canoe walk on water.
Dancing on the surface of the ocean on this canoe, just rushing, and 6 people all together, just pounding and ripping this thing, flying on the surface of the ocean. It's just insane, and you're not even flying on the surface of the ocean anymore. I mean, you're flying in the heavens. You're like in the heavens. You're in this vast openness, and you're just flying through the heavens on the surface of the ocean.
Hawaii. Here is Hawaii. He kamana kahiki, a child of Tahiti. He mo'opuna na kahiko, laua o kapolana ke hau e. A place where our grandchildren came from, sailing all the way to Hawaii.
My dad and my mom, they had great aloha. They shared everything with anybody. He told my dad he needed a shirt, he took his shirt off his back and never wanted it back. Told me he needed help, he went there. So was my mom. I grew up with them knowing that. They were truly Hawaiian, sharing aloha spirit. And so I learned from my dad and my mom, we must and we can share and we can teach everyone about the aloha spirit, this word we call aloha.
That's how it's done. Every time the boat rocked, my muscle would tense. This is going great. Leading up to the voyage, I didn't feel like I had in past
I did have doubts in myself.
The weather laid down a little bit. It's a little bit kind of rough right now. I know, not rough.
During the actual paddle, there was pain. But once my teammate said, Kendall, you're in, I never felt like I wasn't going to make it.
Alec, take it up on it.
There you go.
It's my hands that hurt right now. Okay, never mind my whole body and stuff. Lack of sleep and the exertion is making the mind slow down a little bit. You can feel the muscles. We've gone through the muscles just being sore, but the little fibers inside the muscles, it feels like that they're individually sore.
Last night was a hell of a scary night. The water was coming from all directions. Definitely the most frightful paddle I've ever been on.
And the fact is that that was the most spectacular hour that I've ever had in the canoe. And the fact that it was at night makes it more unbelievable. You can't see it, you can only feel it. And I think that's kind of epitomizes paddling to me. You only can feel it.
Silvery shimmers on the water. As we paddled, stars shooting through the aqua blue was like a underwater universe. It was absolutely beautiful. The waves would crest and break, giving the sound of the Ha, the breath of the ocean, the breath of life, the breath to us paddlers. In the paddle, there was a greeting ferry tern who circled above, and as if he went to get his buddies, 3 or 4 other birds came over. It was like the gang had come to wish us aloha.
Yeah.
It's what?
You only got 5 minutes.
Oh, thanks.
Well, sorry about that.
Is it still ugly?
Yeah, it's cold and windy and ugly.
Oh, God. I know.
Have a good up. You want a little milk? Huh? You want some milk? No. You don't?
I want some more time.
We all can see an end in sight, which seems to open up a reserve of energy as well as a willingness to push on to get to that end point.
When I really think about it, the journey's been amazing so far, and it's not even over with. And the people that I've been paddling with in my crew, and I just love them to bits, and just so happy that I got to paddle with them. We've had some amazing runs.
I felt strong all day, just felt really strong. Had a couple shifts, one shift overnight steering, which was just an incredible experience.
It brought me back to my family, my grandchildren, and I thought this would be good for them to see their grandma do this and give them hope and courage to go on and do bigger things in life, and don't let anybody limit their abilities.
What I really found out about this whole thing is paddling's not a sport. It's not an endurance contest. It's a feeling you have and a feeling you get. And there were a couple runs over this 72-hour period where the feeling was so strong you could taste it.
Walk over the chairs and everything else.
Take it up one.
Random boys, be really careful, yeah? Don't be swaying, yeah? Look at me now.
The escort vessels turned and we're heading south-southwest right now. We're going to enter the monument and we're going to be able to go by Curry Atoll and finally see what it is we've been aiming for over the course of the last 6 years.
My good friend Kimokeo, he has continued all the way to the first island that was created. His passion is so great, generated energy from a spiritual source that many people will not understand.
Yeah, that's the atoll, that's the reef.
Oh, really?
So now, Ohana, you have connected all the Hawaiian islands from Big Island to Curie. Bye-bye! Bye-bye! Bye-bye!
For Kimokeo, he's not after making $1 billion. He's not after driving the best sports cars. He's after helping people to learn about what makes him tick as a Hawaiian. He has grown up to look at what it means to be a makuakane, or a father. Today's Haloa, meaning the man who has increased his ohana, his family.
It's a humbling experience for me when you look at yourself
bobbing along in that vast expanse and try to attach some significance to who you are or what you stand for. It distills down to actions and what you do, which becomes who you are.
I feel so fortunate to have been able to be a part of that, because I'm one of less than 5 people who's paddled from the Big Island to Curry Atoll. And this cancer to me it's another long paddle. That's how I look at it. I never have a doubt that I'm going to beat this again.
I have come from the childhood age to the adult age of appreciating all these people who appreciate Hawaii and appreciate our culture. E ke alakai ko o mau kupuna. The family of the Va'a, my greatest love of all.